Hello, hello! I'm Tanya Dalton, owner of Inkwell Press and host of Productivity Paradox. And I want to talk about happiness. Now, I know you might think, what does happiness have to do with productivity? But to me, it means everything. You see, productivity is not about getting more done. It's about getting what's most important done, which means it's really about happiness and how we feel at the end of our days. So over the course of the next several videos, we're going to be exploring this idea of happiness. I'll be creating a playlist for you, but let's get started today with how to increase your happiness using Shawn Achor's 5 tips. Are you ready? Let's get started. Let's talk about what that means to be happy. You see, for a long time, we believed that happiness hinged on success. You work hard, you have success, and happiness follows, right? But scientists have actually found that the opposite is true. Happiness leads to our success, and that's because when we're happier, we have higher drive and higher motivation. We feel like we have more choices. But here's the catch. Happiness is different for everyone. There's no one definition of what it means to be happy. We are ultimately the judges of our own happiness. Our brain receives about 11 million bits of information every single second, but it can only process 40. Which means it has to constantly filter out information, and it is scanning our environment for different experiences. Now, if we set a pattern of scanning for negativity, your brain starts to believe that the world around us is negative. Let's say that your job is to study spreadsheets, and you look for mistakes all day long. You're scanning again and again for mistakes. What happens is we set this pattern in our brains, and we begin scanning the world around us also for mistakes. Our brain wants to hold on to these patterns, even if it means it's scanning against our happiness. But the good news is that means we can shift our patterns. We can change the way our brain is scanning. Think about it like a placebo. Whenever scientists are doing a study on medicine, they always have a placebo. Now, what they have found is oftentimes the placebo works just as well and sometimes better than the medication itself. And that's because we set a pattern of believing this pill is going to help us. It's going to alleviate our pain, or it's going to alleviate our symptoms. So we can use that to our advantage. There was recently an experiment where they took the staff of 7 different hotels and they talked to them about how cleaning can really be a great and effective use for weight loss. Now, what they did is they divided the cleaning staff into 2 groups. Group 1 was told just to carry on with their jobs as normal. But group 2 was given information and videos about how the cleaning really works as a weight loss method, and that they expected that they would see some weight loss. Well, what do you think happened after several months? Group 1, they were exactly the same place they were before. But group 2, the ones who were told about cleaning as weight loss, not only did they experience weight loss, they also experienced lower cholesterol. You see, we shift our minds and we can bend our reality. We can train our brains to start scanning our environment, looking for positivity and looking for happiness. Happiness expert Shawn Achor has 5 activities you can do that are quick and simple that can change the way that your brain is scanning for positivity and happiness. Activity number 1 is called 3 things. So you're essentially looking for 3 things every day that you're grateful for. But here's the thing, they need to be different every single day. You can't say, I'm grateful for my family, I'm grateful for the weather every single day, because you're not really changing the way that your brain is scanning. It needs to be specific to that day. So you could say, I'm grateful for the beautiful weather because I was able to eat my lunch outdoors. Or I'm grateful for my family because we were able to go for a walk together after dinner. Really looking for 3 specific things in your day that felt positive. Now, after 21 days, they found that even pessimists changed into low-level optimists. And even people who were suffering from depression found that they were happier within 6 months of doing this exercise. And they even continued to feel a little bit more optimistic long after stopping the exercise. Now, the things don't have to be profound that you find in your day. They don't have to be big and, amazing things. They just need to be specific. And all you have to find is 3. Activity number 2 is called conscious acts of kindness. Essentially, you're looking for ways to improve other people's days. When you do that, it actually has the effect of improving yours as well. Now at Facebook headquarters, what they did is they had their employees Write a kind note or text to someone different every single day for 21 days. After those 21 days, they found that their social connection rose off the chart. And social connection, by the way, is one of our greatest predictors of happiness. So you could pick one day a week to try to do 5 random acts of kindness, or sprinkle them throughout your week. They don't have to be big. It could be really small. It could be paying for coffee for the person behind you, or their toll booth fee, giving genuine compliments. So I have a question for you. I'd like you to comment below. What's one random act of kindness that you could do that would be meaningful to you? Here's my answer. On Fridays, I write one thank you note. I write one thank you note to someone who I feel has done something really nice for me. Doesn't have to be anything big, could be something small, but I write one note, and that kicks off my weekend in a really positive way. Activity number 3 is called the Fun 15. That basically means 15 minutes of fun cardio workout. So if lacing up your shoes and heading out for a 15-minute run sounds great to you, go do it. But if lacing up your shoes and running for 15 minutes sounds like torture, that is not what you want to do. The word fun is key here. It needs to be an activity you enjoy. That could be as simple as a 15-minute walk or turning on your favorite playlist and dancing in the kitchen. Scientists have found that fun activities and exercises that get your heart pumping really can make a difference. There recently was a study where they took depressed patients and they divided them into 3 groups. Group 1 took antidepressants. Group 2 took antidepressants and did 15 minutes of exercise. And Group 3 did exercise only. They found similar improvement in all 3 groups, but the group that did the exercise only, they had the lowest chance of relapse. Exercise really can make a difference and can shift the way that your mind works. Activity number 4 is short meditation. Now, at Google headquarters, they had their employees take their hands off of their keyboards for 2 minutes and focus on breathing. 21 days later, their accuracy was up 10%. Happiness and engagement was up as well, and that made a huge difference in how their employees worked together and how they felt about work. Now, I know for some people, meditation's like, I don't know, that's a long time, but it doesn't have to be long. A short 2-minute break of focusing on meditation can really make a difference. And to make this even easier for yourself, try using an app or just putting on a little bit of music and for one single song, focusing on your breathing and shutting your eyes. That's all it really takes. Activity number 5 is my favorite. It's called the doubler. And it's my favorite because I think it takes very little time and it's really, really simple to do. You choose one positive experience in your day and you think about 3 different details about that experience. One experience, that's so much easier than finding 3 things in your day, right? So essentially, you sit down, you think about one positive thing that happened, and you think through 3 different details. What were you wearing? Maybe where you were. How did you feel during that moment? It's almost like visualization, but in a much simpler form. And what they found is that when you do this activity, they call it the doubler because it doubles your happiness. You don't have to do anything once you've done this exercise. You just think through one singular activity in your day and really think it through in detail, and you'll find the same boost in your happiness that you experienced in that moment. Now, these 5 exercises are all very easy to do, and they'll start to change the pattern of how your brain is scanning for information. So I want to encourage you to take 21 days to try one of them. Just choose one and stick with it for 21 days and see if you don't start changing the way you view the world. If you'd like to learn a little bit more about happiness, I've got an episode of my podcast. Episode 79 is all about when happiness doesn't feel like a choice. I've got several blog posts as well. I'll make sure to include links to those below. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe because I'll have a new video next week. All right, have a happy and productive week.